My name's Mark Mosley, and my blog is called Your Right Hand Thief. That is the title, and the web address is righthandthief.blogspot.com. And the subtitle on that is Laughing Off Hard Truths in New Orleans. I started before the storm and federal flood, and my idea at the time was to relate as much of myself to New Orleans at large as I could, and when possible to relate New Orleans to national issues at large whenever I could. Normally political stuff, and it goes into pop culture and my views and commentary on that. It's a brief introduction. Ashley?
I'm Ashley Morris. My blog is Ashley Morris the Blog, creatively enough. And the URL is ashleymorris.typepad.com. Yeah, I'm a college professor, and my school has absolutely nothing to do with my blog, thank God, and vice versa. I started blogging right around December of 2004 because I was trying to resolve to keep a diary, and I knew that I was going to be working in Europe, in Prague, from March until the end of August in 2005, and so that was the original plan. And then in August I came back to New Orleans to buy a house, supposed to close September 3rd, I believe, 2005, and my adventures in evacuation kind of changed the tone of the blog to where it became all about New Orleans all the time. And I think Mark is probably much more of a local Politico type. He has his finger on the pulse of, you know, who goes to what brothels, and I'm as a somewhat failed musician, I'm all about the music and the culture. I'm really trying to
But you're a failed comedian as well.
I'm a failure at many things, yeah.
But your blog is funny.
Well, being a teacher, I've found the way to keep people's interest if you're dealing with really dry topic matter is to try to keep them laughing every now and then. Although my remark about after I got tenure wearing a Speedo to class actually got me a visit from the dean, so can't always be funny all the time.
Well, I think blogs are an important for a number of reasons. Chiefly, I started mine to vent. You know, I was yelling at the TV watching political shows and local events too. After the federal flood, as we like to say, after Katrina, the storm, the evacuation, and the coming back, a real community developed, I think, that was pretty impressive by any standard online.
Unlike many blogging communities, we're all on the same side. We're all on the side of New Orleans pushing against whatever powers that be, as opposed to having turf wars or rivalries about, oh, his blog sucks, whatever. We're all just, no, all the politicians suck, and that's what we're going to let you know.
Problems that everyone faces include that have resonated online: housing, insurance, tax woes, city incompetence and corruption. You know, get huge responses. Trash issues.
I was going to talk about the Karen Gadbois stuff, about the people that are, you know, talking about
yeah, absolutely.
The demolitions that are going on, how some of those are for people that wanted to keep their home. And
yeah, wrongful demolitions.
Yeah, wrongful demolitions. And they literally were gone. They were there that weekend working on the house. They came back the next weekend and there was rubble because the city tore it down. without proper notice or proper anything. And we're not going to depend on anybody else. We're not going to be able to get anything from anybody else. We're just going to have to work with if we want anything done here, the only way it'll get done is by doing it ourselves.
One of his little pet peeves, that's one of the fun things about blogging, to get a little, a little pet subject area and just exploit it for all it's worth and follow it. And, then you feel obligated to report future developments.
If I hear the term Musicians Village, I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be great.
And you're a musician.
I'm a failed musician, yeah. And I was picturing this great community where you would have all these musicians live and people would learn from their neighbors, and they'd be playing at night and people wouldn't be arrested for second lining and all kind of fun stuff. And what happened was, my favorite brass band right now is the Hot Eight, and I'm friends with a couple of guys in the band, and they, to a man, every single one of them applied for admission into the Musicians Village, and to a man, every one of them was denied. Why? And I thought,
why was that?
Because even though it was named Musicians Village, they didn't provide any allowance for musicians.
Financing,
you could apply
basically?
to it. Anybody could apply to it. First of all, I think it was a misnomer that it was not for musicians. It was for anyone. But
it's called Musicians Village, but there's not musicians living there
at the time. Yeah. And because a musician, if you're a brass band musician in this town, you don't have a 401k. You don't have extensive accounting. You get paid in cash after every gig, and that's what you live on. And so they didn't have extensive record keeping that Habitat required. Habitat didn't loosen any of their requirements. Since that time, since we have been hammering on Habitat, they have allowed basically handwritten gig sheets. You can put down where you're getting your money, where you've been gigging and making money, where you expect to be gigging in the future, and now there are a lot more musicians living there. People are realizing that the bad press and I think Habitat's doing a great job. I was just dreadfully discouraged by the fact that they were calling this Musicians Village when every musician I know that applied to get in there got rejected. And Daenerys Shavers got approved. He was the first guy in the Hot Eight to get approved to go into Musicians Village, and it happened 3 days before he got murdered.
I guess I'd like to stress the potential I see for the opportunities for more coordination in the blogosphere.
The thing that amazes me, I can't believe this, the people at City Hall read our blogs.
That's another thing. It shouldn't be underestimated. I've got a lot of contacts in political campaigns and whatnot, and they read blogs.
They can't get away with everything they used to.
They shouldn't underestimate. Bloggers shouldn't underestimate themselves.